What's up, DBS fam? 1 second. Let's set up and we'll be on our way for today. Hopefully, y'all can hear me today. Everything is going smooth. I'm pretty sure I figured out the volume issue that happened on the last video. Alright. Get to the pop out chat and we'll be on our way for today. Can't even see right now. Pop out chat. There we go. I was just sleeping with my son and my alarm went off at 45. I turned it off and I randomly was able to wake up at 59. So I have the chat right here. Gotta make sure you guys can see me. Alright, cool. Everything's fire. Oh, and here's my son. 1 second. Let me put him to sleep. It's okay. Alright, my bad. We're back. Yeah, he woke up. I had to go bring him to his mom so he could go to sleep. He was sleeping with me tonight. So we got this up. What's up, Blackstone Demon? Alright, it's your boy Eddie St. Hilaire coming at you live today with another episode of Team Talks. A lot of you guys were hitting me up yesterday. Yeah, there's only going to get to a lot of you guys. But for the stuff I do remember, I think I went over one of the questions in the comments from the last video. They asked me to explain an interaction. I think it was between what did I say? It was a Piccolo leader I was talking about. When Pan Unison is in play, he said, oh, okay. The interaction I was talking to was if you have the Unison in play, right, and the Gogeta leader swings first, if you release from Evil It, the permanent is off. So if they have Saiyan cards in rest mode, they can no longer combo off those cards. So to further that up, if they play the one drop that reduces itself by 2 in hand, or the 4 drop that reduces itself by 2 in hand, the one that you play, it's a Vegeta and it's a Goku that you play and you draw a card. You just draw a card, but at the end of the turn, it plays itself in rest mode. But at the end of the turn, it gets removed, right? It's going to get removed because you can no longer combo it off. So that's one of the questions that I got from the comments last time that I didn't address yet. Hopefully that explains it. Yeah. I mean, let's just get right into it, right? So let's get into the red deck itself, because a lot of players are asking me what's up. Like, why do I feel this way? Yeah, you guys know I speak a lot of I say a lot of things that are highly controversial. A lot of times people are like, this guy is crazy, but then it's like, damn, he's crazy, but what he's saying, it's true. So the 2 decks, well, technically, I'm gonna say 3 decks. People should really be on the lookout for. It's crazy they're all right next to each other. Are these 3? Honestly speaking, this just has an insane way to actually play the Goku Defender of Life the best way. You get the most bang for your buck, right? So if you want to have something that, hey, is going to be different but maybe still effective, you can play Pan. I can see Pan doing well. Can I see Pan winning an event? Maybe. Once again, I can see it doing really, really well. Because once again, the Defender of Life card, let me pull it up really quick, is best utilized in Pan, which is going to be completely and utterly insane effect that you get to finish it off. Because when you do use this card, the only effect that people usually get is just, hey, if you have a sand card in your drop area, you put it under, and then you gain barrier and deal it damage. But what they're forgetting is when you do play it in pan, you have the second effect, the activate main. Once per turn, you tap red energy. If your leader is a pan only card, so you're not able to play in a GT deck, right? So if your leader is a pan only card, you have 4 more energy and a great Ape Sun Goku, the aggressor. It's the one when they combo off, it comes back into play. I believe it's for free. And it draws a card. It says this card gains 5k power for the turn and dual attack. So the way you're gonna look at this, let's pull up the Great Ape card. You got this combo right now. Buy now. Great Ape. Great Ape. Great Ape. Great Ape. Goku. Gives it an extra power boost too. Here we go, right here. So this is a great thing they're referring to. It's a unique auto. If your leader is a pan card and your opponent has 2 or more energy, at the end of battle, when this card is used in a combo for your hand, you play this card. So you play it in pan. What's going to happen is pan's going to trigger, so you gain an extra 5k. So it'll be 20k and it'll draw your card. So it'll draw you a card on top of it. If your leader is pan, when this card is placed under one of your Z battle cards, the Z battle card gains 5k power for the following and the following skill for the turn. When this card attacks, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and it gains negative 25k power for the turn. So those are the 2 biggest things you want to look at is now an addition to the Defender of Life card, right? Because when we looked at the Defender of Life before, Defender of Life itself, when you put something under it and gains dual attack, it'll be 25, relatively. Realistically speaking, if you do it correctly, you would play this, it'd be 25 because Pan would give it an extra 5k. Afterwards, when you top in 1, it's going to be 30 because 25 plus 5k is 30. But this also gives it an extra 5k. So realistically speaking, it's going to be a 5k on top of it, which is going to be 35k. Yeah, the math is hitting me hard right now. We just went back up to jump on this team talks. So you're going to be a 35k dual attack card, which is going to be absolutely utterly insane because realistically speaking, if you put your opponent in a bind, you can take out their last 3 life because by the time you play this and you spam this should be roughly around 4. So Defender Life will put him to 3. You just got to hit 1 double strike connect, and then your leader will finish the rest. Or maybe you're playing, I don't know, the Unison package because it's against another color. You have access to your ruler. Once again, to recap what we had on the last one, let me put the comments up just in case you guys have anything. Once again, to recap what you want to do when you're playing these red decks in this format, I'm telling you guys, trust me. Like, it sounds crazy, but do not main deck your Gogeta Unison. Have it coming out of your sideboard. Reason being, and once again, to recap again, is we're playing in a best of 1 pre-side format. So in a best of 1 pre-side format, it doesn't matter, realistically speaking, whether you go first or second. If it's versus red, you're not going to play your Unison, especially versus Sen, because Sen is just going to one-shot your Unison and they're going to laugh at you because you wasted an entire turn to, instead of proactively progressing your board state, you passively kept it the same. And now, realistically speaking, I like to call it that you just baby hatch yourself because your opponent is not going to take any damage because the time you do that, once again, your best play is going to be you tap your 2 for your Unison. Other than that, you swing with it, you swing with your leader, you swing if you had a battle card in play, and your best play that could come afterwards is going to be a new ruler. So my opinion, isn't that worth it? Because Yamcha right now doesn't really even take out. It's not even worth it because I'm trying to think in a Sin match, it is what it is. It's like, okay, cool, I can just stop. The other one will gain power, and it's just not worth it. Like, trust me, guys, it's just not worth it. It's you're gonna regret it. And people who did play it, they said, "Yo, you're right. Like, you have to take it out and just not mainboard it. Don't completely take it out. Just have it coming out of your sideboard." But yeah, that's my spiel for Pan. Because I didn't really give Pan justice in my previous videos, but it can be in right now. But make no mistake. Just because I'm talking about Pan, I don't want people to think that I'm over here trying to sugarcoat the 2 best decks in the format. The 2 best decks in the format right here. Number 1, this is hands down 100% the best deck in the format. It is going to be the Son Goku and Vegeta. SS4 Son Goku and SS4 Vegeta in it together to just destroy the format. That's exactly what they're doing, right? Permanent, obviously in the front. You can use mono red. You can use mono red rest one sand cards in combo. Really, really powerful. I gave an example on the Patreon where you can play this deck in multiple ways in order to be successful. What's up, Coop? Thanks for joining. One way I gave it to him, because I don't want to reveal real sequences yet. Because again, if I do head up to San Diego, I will be playing this deck. But I'll tell you the cards because just like I told you for the Trunks deck, just like I told you when I was playing the Fearless Fighter deck, I can tell you what I'm playing, what cards I'm playing, and it's not gonna matter if I sit across from me if you don't know what I'm doing with those cards, right? So I'll tell you exactly an example that I gave. People were asking me with the about this deck. If you turn 1 or turn 0 have Scions in this deck, right? You swing with leader. Obviously, before you play Scions, you're gonna be a smart player. You're just gonna swing with leader. It's gonna be, oh, okay, cool. You swung. You're gonna take it or not gonna take it. Up to you. You play Scions. You swing with Scions. It's only like 10k. Oh snap! For a fact, if you didn't take the first one, you're probably gonna take this one because if you went second, if you're going second, they open up with 6 cards in hand. They're going to charge one. They're going to have 5. So at that time and point, the most cards they can have in hand is going to be 6. If they tap one and they play a battle card, and it would have to replace itself, they're gonna have 5 cards. So if they did that, that's the best case scenario. And they outcombo the first one, they would now have 4 cards. They're most likely not going to outcombo the second one because the hand parity is going to start to kick up really quick. Because if you do outcombo the second one, you're going to end up with 4 cards in hand. So now when you pass turn to them, what's going to end up happening is that they're going to draw a card and have 5 cards. But realistically speaking, they're still going to have the 4 cards because they have to charge a card. So realistically speaking, they're going to take it. But if they still out combo it, you're still in there and you're super plus because you'll neg the Scions, you'll bring out the 2 Vegetas, you'll bring out 2 Vegetas that's on par with what your deck is trying to do because you can actually do it with the Vegeta 1-drops, which are actually GT, which has the perfect synergy for this deck. There we go, right here. Boom. And you swing 2 more times. Now, the thing about this, they're not going to survive all 4 swings. Really speaking, 2 swings are guaranteed to go through. The third one maybe goes through, maybe doesn't go through. But once you start doing plays like that, it's like, okay, it's the same thing what Sin has, right? And that's why I told you guys, in my opinion, people gravitate more towards Sin than they do Gogeta because Gogeta gives you all these cards to your hand, to your opponent's hand, where Sin doesn't. So sometimes people play Gogeta and they give these cards in their hand, and the cards they give to their opponent, they're not able to now outplay their opponent because their opponent has answers to those cards, right? Versus Sin, it doesn't have answers to those cards because the cards you just swung with that first 20k instead of the Scions play, the first strike was probably a 20 to 25k double strike crit. So people are like, yeah, Eddie, this is why Sin is better. It's always better, but it's not. What they're not realizing, and I'm trying to be really careful, like because I want to help you guys the best I can, but I just don't want to. Once again, the sequencing is the one thing that I'll always hold to myself until I actually do it. It's like I don't know what that is. It's like when people are asking about this 6-0 play, I give you guys all the cards that are included in it. But the thing is, you're like, okay, cool. Yeah, it's Mirror, Oolong, Kai, and your leader and your seeker. And people are like, okay, I can obviously solve. I can play around it. But the way, once again, sequencing in this game is really huge. You have to put it in a point where they're not able to. They can see it coming, and they're not able to do nothing about it. It's like when I played Juha, right? We were playing. Who was playing Sin? That man didn't lose to anyone the entire day except for me. He saw it coming, and he just said, "All right, broski, there's no need to play." He just scooped it up because you can leave 4 energy open, you can leave 3 energy open. It's not gonna matter because of the sequencing that I have to that point. Now going back to what I was saying with the sinning, Gogeta, that example of the turn 1 Scions is the biggest difference because a lot of people, if you were to play a Scions and you did that, they can take that damage and then reverse all of what you're trying to do against them, right? Whereas Sin, if you hit that 20k double strike, a lot of people start to panic and it's like, man, I may have lost a key card from my deck, or I may have lost a key card from my life that I really need. So now it's just rough. With that being said, the thing I'm trying to convey to you is don't be scared to not go that crit route and play something like that in Gogeta. Because Gogeta, the reason why it doesn't matter is, realistically speaking, the deck says you're playing handicap. Because once you get to 3 life, it's a wrap. Most leaders in the format, they self-awaken down to 6. That's another reason why, too, I don't really see it as being as effective. Because Sin, unless they're going first, that double strike play is not really a threat. Unless you're going first and then you keep tapping on, you keep tapping on. Some people, realistically speaking, at the event, that's what they happened. And they got hit. Even though they went first, they still got hit for double strike crit. And I'm like, yeah, you guys just weren't paying attention to how Sin plays itself. Gogeta, whether it was first or second, you'll always have access to that play with the Scions play. What else? That's just an example of one turn one play, right? There's multiple turn one plays. Once again, in both decks, I would not recommend you main decking your Unison. So it's at least 8 slots. Me personally, probably be 9 because I like consistency, right? I like to play my 4 Unisons, my 4 Yamchas, my 4 Unisons, my 4 Yamchas, and my 1 Uruler. So realistically speaking, that's 9 slots for me. A normal person would probably play the same thing where it's 4 Unisons, maybe 3 Yamchas, 3 to 4 Yamchas, or maybe 1 Uruler. So that's at least 8 to 9 slots you just freed up in your main board. Once again, the reason behind it, I'm doing my best to like explain the reasoning so you guys, so it can resonate with people, so they can understand what he's saying. It's wild, but once again, it's wildly correct because every single time I do my best to tell you guys these kinds of stuff, you just hear what I say, but I guess a lot of people miss the concept behind it. But what you guys are realizing, I'm telling you, in this game, I guarantee to you, there's less than a handful of people that have more testing hours than me. I'm always testing, whether it's on Untap, whether it's literally here or watching my kids. Because right now, I'm not really working. I'm winning. Next month, I'm taking the polygraph in order to go work at the sheriff's office. So right now, I have an entire month to earn. I play test daily, bro. When I'm on the toilet, I'm play testing. I asked you how, bro. We were at the airport. I said, I'm never going to lose to Blue again. With my Trunks deck, I fixed that thing up within an hour. Like, it's hard proof now. I'm always, always, always testing. So when I say something, it's because I actually know what's going to happen. If I say there's a 6-0 combo that's uninteractable, it's a 6-0 hit that's literally uninteractable. Unless you're playing blue. Once again, like I told you in the last video, blue is the one color that you're not really able to do that to. Because blue has access to energy manipulation. Anything that has blue carry. So if it's red blue too, it would have been an issue. Speaking of red blue, let's get back to the Gogeta and Sin variants. So the one thing Sin does have over Gogeta, I believe that Sin has access to function in more ways than Gogeta does, right? Gogeta is obviously a mono red deck, but yes, you can, and a lot of people don't think about this, right? A lot of people just see the cards and they're like, okay, cool, it's something to put together. You have to start to think outside the box. Sin and Gogeta doesn't really have to be mono red, but the issue with the Gogeta not being mono red, it's not as effective as Sin being multicolor because Sin has natural cards that people don't think about that are not red that has perfect synergy. The number one thing that I was trying to get them to see was Dragon Thunder. So like a lot of people are trying to put Almighty Resistance now. They're like, okay, cool. It was so good in Sin. Why not just put it down with Gogeta? You don't need it because honestly speaking, if your Gogeta hits the board, nothing happens. That 3 life is done. Like you can have 3 super combos, sure, whatever it is. But if you're able to strike that first attack, your hand size is probably going to be depleted. You see what I'm saying? Um, Sin has natural synergy to where, okay, cool, even if you're playing Almighty Resistance, you will have natural yellow energy to pitch off with your Dragon's Thunder. For instance, I'll give you another example of how I would have played Sin if I could have picked up Sin or Gogeta and played it. I just didn't want to because a lot of people said Eddie's always biased. He's saying Trunks is this, Trunks is that because he wants people to play Trunks so he could farm him. I'm like, no, bro. Like, if I'm telling you Trunks is the best counter pick for the 2 decks, I'm telling you, Trunks is the best. Once again, I have hours and hours and hours of testing. Trunks is the best counter pick for those 2 specific decks because it builds a wall. They're the polar opposites. Sin puts all of its aggression super early in the game to the point where later in the game, if you're able to survive, their deck just crumbles on itself. They don't have that many battle cards. Once again, they have the double strike, they have the triple strike, and the only advantage that Sin has, realistically speaking, is being able to get those guys critical. But they only have 4 opportunities to give it critical. You see what I'm saying? So if you're able to, if you know it's gonna come and you test, you'll be able to find out ways to start saying, okay, I'm not gonna take it, or hey, cool. Play a deck, but once again, Trunks that counters those two things, because on my turn one, regardless if I go first or second, I'll look at my deck. I'm like, okay, cool. Play my one drop, look at my deck. If my Secret Rare, if my 6-0 combo pieces are safe and they're in deck, go ahead and double strike crit, bro. See, I don't care. It is what it is. It sucks, right? But it is what it is. My Secret Rare is in my deck. No super combos are in my life. At least one mirror is in my deck. I take the 2 life. You know why? Because if you take the 2 life and I see my deck, okay, most of my one drops are in there. Cool, you just farmed my drop for me. So realistically speaking, it's in my advantage. That's the way players should be thinking about how to counteract the best decks. Because when players just say, okay, cool, I'm just not gonna do it. I'm gonna defend. Sometimes you go next to defend it because a real player. That's what I was trying to get you how to see. A real player can know what's gonna happen. Like, okay, cool. My opponent obviously left one open. If it's not yellow, it has nothing to yellow. They're probably going to try to, I don't know, let's say combat it. So in order to stop it from being combated, you have to now counterplay their counterplay strategy against you. So if you have something like Trunks the Delusion Power, you can drop it on a 20k the double strike guy as well as Haze. So now it's a 30k double strike crit. So realistically speaking, if they're playing, let's say, something like blue and let that one energy open because they had the UI Goku, they're like, okay, cool. He thinks he's gonna have a free double strike crit because, oh yeah, he's playing Sin. I'm gonna use my UI Goku, the extra card, to go to 25 and just super outplay him. No, you counterplay his counterplay because he saw, like, he's like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. You don't know if we're going first or second. He lost to Dario. So yes, he's like, yes, I cyborg correctly. He's gonna swing for this. I'm just gonna literally tap one energy, 15k, and got out of it. But no, you counterplayed his counterplay. That's when levels in this game start to change between players because players aren't able to improvise, adapt, and overcome after that. Because it's like, well, damn, I did this, but he still was able to land this. My bad. Let's get to the comments. So I know you said SSB Vegeta is the secret for SS4 Gogeta. So what would you recommend over as the overall choice? Honestly speaking, it's not going to matter for overall choice or not. You can play, I guess, a double strike. I wouldn't play the Broly. I wouldn't play the Broly. Like the Broly is good and all, but you don't. Your problem with that deck is not with the deck. It's not going to be that you're able to. It's not going to be that you need more damage. It's just going to be you're going to need cards because the damage in Gogeta is going to happen. Once again, I'm trying to be super safe and showing you guys my sequencing while revealing to you what cards I would play. For instance, if you're playing Gogeta, another route you can do if you want to just main deck, actually don't do it. Because I'm not going to even tell you guys that route. Because you guys are going to do it and you guys are going to instantly regret it. But a really cool package that you can do with the Unison that's not versus red is you can play the Young Invader stuff, right? The Young Invader stuff will come in, and in your turn 3 play, if it's not against another red deck, you can try to, like for me, right? When I'm playing Trunks, my players, as you guys will see in my deck profile coming out later this week, my players, when I play my Slug, I'll protect my Slug with the Trunks blocker as well as that Vegeta TP. The Vegeta TP is so much value. It's a one-drop negate. On top of the being a one-drop negate, I'll negate the first attack. If you play something, the Trunks itself will rest the first thing you play. And if you swing and you're trying to just swing 20 on 19, because that's most likely what's going to happen because it's so early in the game, you're going to give me a 5k combo, and I'm just going to combo whatever's on the field. It's going to go to Z energy, and my Trunks is going to restand. And now you're just going to be like light years away from just touching my Slug. And it's going to be just annoying for you. Things like that, that's what you want to hit on. A lock like that, which is really cute, but once again, I do not recommend this against red, is playing the Young Invaders package because Young Invaders, you'll be able to spam it with the Unison. and then you just play the switching gears. The switching gears will fix your hand. And the thing about switching gears that people don't realize, it's one of the most brokenest cards of the game. But the fact that the King Vegeta deck itself was hit the way it was hit the field spell, people don't really see that. You're not able to interact with the switching gears at all, because the switching gears has that clause where it's okay, cool. I'm about to play it. Okay, reveal counter 101. Do you have something? No? Okay, cool. I don't do anything. I wait till you counter play. You use your God Seal and use your Yamcha, use whatever it was. It's cool, right? Then the only thing I could really hit it, I want to say, is going to be charismatic. Because charismatic, you could just do it in window 2 and then auto come in and pop it. But if you're playing green, you're already far behind. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna actually show you guys why. So a lot of people say Eddie's biased once again. But I'm gonna show you guys the cards why it's really difficult for you to play certain colors and currently in this set. So going back to our saying, a real cool tech that you can do against decks that are not, once again, that are not red, because this will not work against red. You do that, so on your turn 3 play, you just go straight up and you tap out for the Vegeta, for this Vegeta right here. I'll pull it up. The SSB Vegeta, the one that was the most brokenest card in the Young Invaders deck. The boss. Here we go, right here. Bam. And you have a really cool play, man, because it's like a lock that is going to be almost impossible to get around, because you're going to have to deal with this, and you dealing with this is going to keep destroying battle cards. But if you destroy this, you're not creating yourself a life. And once again, the whole thing about red, I'm going to keep showing you guys the concept I want you guys to see, and I want to ingrain in you guys. With red, you're never safe, because with red, as long as you have 5 or more life, it's really hard to start defending, because red can play catch up and turbo. That's why I told you, if once again, I'm not trying to reveal my sequence, which sucks. But if you think you're trying to outplay a player playing Scions on turn 1 by out comboing them and staying at 6, to me, I'm gonna laugh, because you burned your hand, and it's gonna be a timing point where Gogeta, in my opinion, people love launch, but in my opinion, Gogeta is the best deck to just accrue Z energy, because every single time, no matter what you're doing, your Z energy is just stacked, bro, like stacked. So if you're at 6, you're like, okay, cool, I only took 2 hits, because what they didn't realize was, I'll just give you guys this one sequencing. What you guys don't realize is, on that first attack when I swing, regardless if it's first or second, one of those swings I could just make it 15, because those Scions will be in rest mode, and then my leader says I can combo out a battle card in rest mode. So if you're like, okay, cool, I know what he's gonna do, I'm gonna stay at 16. I'm like, okay, cool. My turn 2 play, instead of tapping out for unison, I can just do my best, play a rush attack, or just wait till turn 3, play the Defender of Life. You want it to stay high, you stay high for nothing. You just wasted a card in your hand, because I have a 20k barrier double strike coming to the dome now. And to top that off, it's going to burn a life. So it's like you just went down to 5. You're most likely going to go on to 4, because you didn't want to do it earlier, but not later in the game, and it's going to suck. But now that you're down at 4, you now have to deal, or now that you're down at 5 or 4, you now have to deal with a double strike. So realistically speaking, it would have been better for you to go to 4, because at least your super combos would have been live. You see what I'm saying? It's sequencing like that people don't realize until it's too late. And that's why I love this current format, because best of 1 is pretty much like whoever built their deck to combat what's sitting in front of him is what's going to win, hands down. It's not, oh, he got lucky, he got it. It all comes down to deck, like to deck building. That's why I said versus me in the finals, I'm probably going to get clapped. Even if the Cell player had won, the fact that I only focused on red, because my locks, as I revealed in my deck profile, can get outed. So I took out all the stuff that wasn't red related out of my deck, and I put those things in, because my locks with Slug can 100% get blown out. But what you can't blow out is my Vegeta Unison of Fury. What you can't blow out is certain cards like Release from Evil. If I lost to Gyro and I'm like, okay, cool, you know what? I don't know who's gonna win in Gyro, so let me put some Release from Evils in versus Sin. Take out the Slug package, because the Slug, it stops a couple of dudes, like it stops your 15k that keeps revolving, draw 1 card. It stops your other guy that comes in and replaces itself. It stops your Berry Super combo from coming up. But realistically speaking, I don't really want to do that to you as a Sin player, because I'm like, it is what it is, right? You can have all those cards at the end of the day. I can build a wall to where you can draw your entire deck and it means nothing to you. So I'd probably take that out and put the Release Evils in. You see what I'm saying? I put the Vegeta Unison and Furies in because another thing that people would do would be, hey, I'm playing Sin. Yeah, his only real thing is literally the 20k. So I'm just gonna go down to one energy and leave one open, or I go down and leave two open. So now you're susceptible to Bergamo, but if you leave the one open, they're like, hey, he's not gonna tap three for a cooler because if he taps three for a cooler, he's not gonna. Yes, he will stop my violent raise, but he will not be able to push through the game. But what they're not seeing is, okay, cool. If I'm playing the Unison of Fury, if you tap the one, that's another way you can get 6-shot. Well, with Unison of Fury, realistically speaking, you get 8-shotted, but I don't say 8. There's a lot of times you can put 8 damage guaranteed, but the reason why I don't talk about it because half the time players are already at 6. So from 6 life, it's easy to just take everything down. Because the only way they'll survive it is by burning their hand and you just pass. A lot of times, so against Sin players, you can ask my Sin players, going second or going first, I can make a board state to where I say you're going to lose 100% after your turn 4. Because I will build a board state that's so great and that's so massive that I will force you to 100%. The only way surviving another turn is by using your SS4 Vegeta Secret on your turn 4. By doing that, I just ensure I'm a 6 on your next turn because you're tapped out and there's nothing else you can do to avoid being blown out because my board was just so great. Whether it's with Slug, Vegeta, Trunks, you literally have to just mass board wipe by tapping 4. Yeah, so Brando, I hope that answered your question for the overall. It doesn't really matter for the overall because the thing about Gogeta, I don't think I did. The thing about Gogeta, once your opponent's at 3, it's game because they can only stall you from your boss monster, right? But the way I compare it, it's like when Legends was playing Invoker. Yes, on his turn 5 when he could rival seeker and burn you, they could play Mecha Cabrera and it's like, okay, cool, it's annoying. But the thing that people don't realize is Gogeta, I'll tell you the cards. I just once again watching the sequence. Gogeta can saw you right back because against the mirror match or against Sin, one V raise, Sin is not able to play against V raise. They can't play around V raise. Whether they don't swing at 20k, whether they swing at 20k, it doesn't matter. One V raise and one Senzu Bean shuts down their deck and it says, you just did your turn, now you pass it to my turn so I can floodgate you. Or now I floodgated you right back, so now it's your turn. If you don't floodgate me again, I'm going to destroy you with my Gogeta. Yeah, it just, that's the perfect example to give you. Whereas Invoker, where they got Namek Cabrera, it's like, okay, cool, you did that. I won't be able to burn you down from 4 to 0. I'll just floodgate you and then make you pass it to me. So you're now playing this game where you're not really able to go and finish the Gogeta player because as the blue player, you constantly have to leave 2 open for the early burst. As any color player, you're either playing the 1-drop Kai. It's just you're not playing your game in order to just do your best to delay yourself from losing versus having a true answer to just stop it, if that makes sense. So the overall, realistically speaking, at the end of the day, it's irrelevant. I'm not gonna lie, it's super irrelevant whether you have one or not because the damage output it's there in your deck, and your opponent's not able to really stop it. Assault from the Skies, I would not play. I wouldn't invest energy in that deck to play in overwhelm. It would have to be 100% be a free overwhelm. I know people are gonna say like, oh, I was about to say that scientist food and stuff like that. Your hand size is massive, guys. Unless you're a slug lock, your hand size in Gogeta is gonna be super super massive. The overall that I would play, if you really want to know the truth, is gonna come from your Vegeta. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's gonna be a rush attack Vegeta, or it's gonna be your defender of life, hands down. That's why that deck is also so popular in my opinion. It's the best deck in the format. Off topic, but how often do you play test leading up to event? I don't play test leading up to event. I play test every day, like every day. Probably I'll tell you my day. Like I wake up, like right now, right? I'm doing team talks. Before I was doing team talks, the reason why I was so MIA, I just been playtesting. Like every night, trust me, I have multiple accounts because a lot of people actually just sit in my lobby to listen to pick up on my text. And a lot of times, even though I have multiple accounts, people will sit there and just watch me, find out there's on my multiple accounts, and then they'll get to a point. If you're ever at 2 life against me, and it seems like, yo, he's gonna win, but there's a lock, but I just give you the win. Trust me, I just didn't want to reveal the sequencing for the combo in order to finish it off. I usually screenshot those games and send it to like Juha. I'm like, yo, listen, look how funny it is. I scooped to this guy, but he doesn't see that I have Miracle or Chomp or like I can do the Ulan. There's a bunch of stuff. I just scoop it up on untap. I'd rather just not show you and just let you think you won, so you think the deck is dead. But I test a lot, like a lot, man. Multiple hours a day. The only time I have to not test is at 8 o'clock when I bring my son to his school, 11 o'clock when I pick him up, 1 o'clock when I bring him to his therapy sessions for an hour. Then 4 o'clock when I have to bring him to his other therapy session, and then when I have to chill with my wife when she gets off of work for like 3 hours and I'm free. Like after his team talks, she has the kids. I'm literally gonna milk it until he wakes back up, and I'm gonna text. And when he cries, I'm say, "Yeah, baby, I'm sorry." I gotta whisper so she doesn't hear me. I'm like, "Yeah, baby, I'm sorry. I just got done. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna come get him right now. I'm gonna milk it, man. I'm gonna play test until that guy wakes up, and then I'm gonna go get him and put him back to sleep." So I play test really, really a lot. And the thing that I do, I go and use the library. That's a video in itself. How to actually play testing in this game is just not play. It's not just not making a deck and playing the game and seeing, okay, cool, does this work or this work. It requires research first. And my first thought, and I told you how this all the time, and other players this all the time. Playtesting starts when you first see cards, and then you start thinking about the cards. Start thinking about what interactions you can do with the cards. It involves the research. And playtesting is the second to last thing you do in order to make sure what you think will be good is actually good. Because playtesting at that time and point is so later in the stage. All you're doing for your playtesting is verifying what you thought on paper and what you thought would work, what interaction you thought would work, versus does it actually work. You see what I'm saying? So it's an entire process for me. I can make another video on that day because it's really long how I actually play test. I don't just build a deck and say, "Hey guys, I'm gonna go on a trip and just put all these cards together and just play a couple of games." That because people play hundreds of games a day, but they're not successful because they're doing the same thing over and over again, not improvising, adapting, overcoming. They're just saying, "Okay, cool, I won 70 and 80% of my games, and I lost those 20% of games." I'm not like that. If I lose a game, even if it's my first game, even if it's my 100th game and I'm undefeated, I'm gonna find out why I lost a 100 game. I'm gonna go back to doing research in order to mitigate, to make myself not lose that match again. You see what I'm saying? So it's like my blue matchup, how I punch it the blue, green, all that good stuff. I'm gonna find a way to condense my deck once again. Say, okay, cool. If they find a way to break the slug lock, they do. But I'm gonna take out the other things that mitigated my slug lock being broken, like my Vegeta Lucifer. I go back to playing the alternate future card, as well as the 5-drop Frieza for the blue matchups and the Stallion matchups. Because at that time and point, I was really ill prepared because I was just so streamlined and I believed in people. I'm like, all right, if you're not playing blue, all of these Sin players and all these Gogeta players will just eliminate everything for me. And I got cocky at that time. So I shouldn't have put my faith in anyone but myself. When you play this game, put your faith in yourself. Don't say, okay, cool. X1, you're my tiebreaker, carry me. No, no, no. Put all your faith in yourself, and that's where I mess up. I promise you, I'll never do that again. So yeah, I'm just gonna have my sideboard how it's supposed to be this time versus overkill for the matchups that were supposed to be there because you never know what can happen. You know what I'm saying? You mentioned the chill card coming up in the extension pack. What does it do and when is it played? If red blue, it gives red blue strategies an annoying card because now I think that's why another reason why I mentioned launch a lot, but not really has been a contender yet, is because launch can only neg 4 times in a turn where it's not. I don't even think it's going to be that efficient because you would have to burn out all your coolers, and there's only one way to get them back, which would be with your Majin Buu, or unless you're playing with a little cooler. He looks like a little penis. The dude's like this. I think it's a 3-drop, but it comes out for 1. And you bounce it to your hand. It's not really able to do anything currently right now. So I think it would get just blown out by Sin or Gogeta because you could only specifically Sin because if Sin gets something barrier, you can only ignore barriers up to 4 times with Cooler. But with Shield and Cooler, it's going to be insane because even if you're not wanting to destroy them, you could at least put a threat on board that's a dual attack blocker that also ignores barrier when it negs something. I think it negs at 15 if I'm not mistaken, ignoring barrier, which is going to start to add up really. I want to say it ignores 15. I know it's more than 10. I want to say it's 15 because when he negged my Trunks during testing session, I want to say my Trunks was at 4K. So I want to say it's neg 15, ignoring barrier. That's a huge part. Once again, it's just ignoring barrier. So now this one chill or even 2 chill is neg 30, or this 1 chill and 1 cooler is neg 25. Once again, ignoring barrier, that presents 2 instances of damage because cooler itself is a double strike and shield is a single strike, but it's dual attack. Basically, it's not gonna be dual attack unless you're going for game because you're just gonna hold it up as a blocker unless you're going against Sin because it's just gonna get nagged off the board. So, Kevbot, I hope I answered your question. Broski, I hope I answered your question. So, do you think Yellow Trunks is not? I think Yellow Trunks is the deck to play for. It's gonna sound so weird. Reason being why I don't think I know Yellow Trunks is the deck to play for it because a lot of things are gonna start to rotate out once the expansion pack comes out. I think Trunks is gonna be one of those decks. Unfortunately, as much as I love it, which would be rotated out because there's gonna be a lot of red blue. Trunks hates red blue. It's like I don't know what it is. Like the decks I pick, they just hate negging. I used to play Jiren. That's the one thing it hates too. It hates the ability to be negged off board. Because if you're able to go against these decks, or you can play Trunks because it's so powerful and so impressive. Whereas I would just have to change the build if you guys really wanted to play it. Where you would have to not really worry about red. So, like I said, the Unison Fury has to come up. It would have to be altered in the future again for a dual attack. So you have 2 inches of attacks where it's 100% completely uninteractable besides Violent Rage, which you could just follow up with it cooler or just say cool. You don't care because you still could rest something and KO it and swing with your leader and do a bunch of shenanigans. But it's going to be really hard, like really, really hard. It's weird. And then the build will have to change again right now. So yeah, I can understand see someone playing Trunks and going to it because I think I don't think I know for a fact San Diego is gonna be what I thought Kansas City would be, where you're gonna actually see the Gogeta players. It's not gonna be just a majority of Sin. It's gonna be split between Sin and Gogeta. Kansas City, I was like, I knew there's gonna be more Sin because it's easier to play. But the thing about Sin is once again, I don't see in any world where it beats Gogeta, and this is where I want to explain. So our players say, Eddie, look, bro, this blue beats Sin, this beats Sin. When things like that happen, it's because the player was better than the player. When I make statements saying Sin is 100% not going to win versus Gogeta, it's because the way I look at it as if Eddie was playing Sin and Eddie was playing Gogeta, because I'm on the same, because obviously the two versions of me, the version of me playing Gogeta will always clap this version. If you were playing Sin and then you were playing Gogeta, the version of you yourself playing Gogeta would smack the version of you playing Sin. That's what I mean when I say there's unwinnable statements. Now, yes, skill comes involved where it's, man, like me, at the event, I played 2 Gammas. If I was sitting there playing Gamma versus the version of me that was playing Trunks, the version of me playing Gamma would have never let Trunks win. It would have just been, bro, you're not doing nothing the entire game, just bullying you all the way to just not topping. You see what I'm saying? But just because I beat Gamma, for me, in my opinion, when I sat down, I said, yo, this is super unwinnable. I literally have to be the better player because no matter how I try to sequence my plays, going first, going second, picking my hand, and picking their hand, there's no way for me to possibly win this matchup because it's just so highly unfavored. So that's what I mean when I say, yeah, don't play it. It's an auto loss. Or when I say strong things like that, it's because I don't look at who's playing the deck. I just look at the decks itself. I don't look at the player skill cap. It's just the depth versus the deck. Like, does that make sense? So I hope I answered your question. No, I think Yellow Trunks. No, I think Yellow Trunks would be the play to do because Yellow Trunks could keep in check both Sin and both Gogeta. And if Gogeta players actually come out, Gogeta players are gonna keep in check both Sin and everything. Everything. That's not just Sin. Let me say that. Gogeta players is gonna keep in check everything. The only closest competition Gogeta will have will probably be the mirror match, and to an extent, Sin players. If the Sin players somehow outplay it. But once again, I don't do the skill thing. I think the only thing Gogeta struggles to is itself, like in a mirror match, honestly speaking, because it's a really complex mirror match that I don't want to get into. Because if I went there, I would play Gogeta because only people laugh when I say it's the best deck in the format. And I'm not gonna play it to like because I'm playing it to prove a point. I played Trunks at Kansas City to prove a point. I'm not trying to trick players into playing Trunks. Oh yeah, no, like I was being for real. Trunks counters both decks. I would play Gogeta to prove a point. It's the best deck in the format, hands down. Another really solid deck. Speaking of, because you're asking on Yellow Trunks, a really solid deck is for an SS4 player or you're like a blue player and you really enjoy playing blue. I would highly recommend the set one read with Goku, but with caution because I love that deck to death. I have a build, but I still yet have to beat Gogeta. But if somehow players like Gogeta just they're not showing out, you'll be successful. Even against you'll be successful. It's just I'm not gonna lie to you straight up. I to this day to not beat that Gogeta matchup. That's the only reason why I haven't debuted it. That would be a cool deck for me to actually play, but I would not go in there not solving away. And I tested, changed things out. made concessions for certain cards and doing this. Gogeta matchup, yes, I could have won the games that I mean, rephrase what I'm saying. I've won games versus Gogeta, but realistically speaking, when I won those games, it was because I was the better player. He had the game won and he misplayed, or she missed. I don't know. I can't see what I'm saying. Whoever am I facing? I've won before, but they misplayed hard. Like I should have lost that matchup. Their sequencing was just subpar, and I was able to come victorious. So I don't really count that as a win. I don't say, okay, cool, I won because they did this or they did that. Or I won because they're playing Gamma and they swung with their leader and I hit them with a receiver. When I win, I need to see consistency in winning. Not, okay, I lose 5 and I only lost the one out of I won the 1 out of 5 games because he was not paying attention and swung with his leader after he played self, so now he's tapped out and out of the cool. I don't count those as wins. That's just a user error. And I think that's where a lot of people mistaken, like, oh yeah, I won this. What he's saying is false. It's not false. Like the player misplayed at a time and point. This man said, "Combo attack cooler looks like." I'm telling you, it does, bro. Like I'm not against. I don't want to get demonetized, but I'm telling you, combo attack cooler doesn't exist. Unnecessary 4 times with the combo. Yep. Did you see the 10 Gogetas? I didn't see Spain. I didn't see the Spain event, but it would make sense. It would make sense that Gogeta. Let me put it this way: in a top cut, I would always expect more Sin than Gogeta. Not because it's better, but because it's easier to pilot. Like you playing Gogeta against blue decks, it's a lot easier to play Sin because it's a lot easier to just take the blue targets out. Because you giving blue access to their blue annoying cards is gonna be it's not a hassle. It's just annoying to deal with because like they're on a clock, they're gonna lose. It's just they're not gonna lose as fast as they would if you're playing Sin if you sequence everything correctly. Um, yeah, but if I were to look at a top cut, I would see Gogeta probably 9 out of 10 times being the winner, even though it's less represented than Sin. Because once again, more players are gonna. It's not about price. It's not about this. I'm gonna cut straight to the point. Don't hate me. Even if you hate me, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna be realistic. It's a lot easier to pilot, bro. Like you're asking to play Red Broly versus playing Launch back in the day. Just Launch was powerful on that good stuff, but Launch, the way you used to play defensively, realistically speaking, if your opponent found a way to counterplay that and put in all their aggression into you in one turn and not do it during any turn because Launch required a combo step, you'd have lost that versus playing Red Broly. It didn't matter what you did. If you can only swing with crit and it cleared the board with 9 crit guys, that game was a guaranteed win because it's like, okay, cool, unless the skill was the same, he gonna take advantage of it because it's critical. The Spain regional top or 10 SS4 good. Yeah. I would expect something like that, but not for a top 16. I would be surprised if it was 10 out of 16. Like if I were to guess a top 16, I'd probably say out of top 16, I would see like 8 Sin. Even I can see. I would see never half and half. It's hard for me to say red because I'm telling you, not yellow, but specifically Trunks counterplays both of those. Like both of those decks are hard counterplayed by Trunks. Like hard and it's not any other yellow deck too. The closest other one that's close to doing it is the Piccolo superhero deck. But you guys heard my spiel on that one. It just needs more support because it's there. It's right there, but you're just missing like that extra oomph. I think has it. The same thing with Bardock Screw. You're missing that extra oomph. Like your leader is double striker, but you're missing that extra oomph with your cards not having barrier. It's rough. Same thing with the Reboot Goku. That champ pack, it's good. But once again, you're missing extra oomph until turn 4 when it's actually viable, bro. And I think it says your opponent has to have 4 more cards, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check it. And if your opponent has to have 4 more cards, it's like now you're banking on the fact that it's gonna be bad if I put Goku. I gotta be really specific because there's gonna be a lot of Gokus that was stupid on my part. There's gonna be a lot of Gokus that pop up because now if it's saying your opponent has to go first, it's going to be a hassle because it should be Great Ape. This once again. This is like an example of just testing. When you actually how to know how to test, you doing this kind of research is testing. You play testing is not the only thing that's involved with testing. You have to do. I do a lot of research before I actually put cards to paper. Grape 8 because we're gonna be here all night if I just try to find. Yo, my mind is shot. I probably passed over this thing like a million times. No, it should be a trait. Actually, it should be a trait, not a character. Yeah. There we go. So we pull it up. Hopefully it's on here. I'm not sure if it would be on here though. Yellow. Yeah, it's not on here yet. I don't want to pull up my Facebook because I don't know what's gonna pop up on my Facebook. I have a lot of messages. I don't want to embarrass people, so I'm not gonna pull up my Facebook. Yeah, but I agreed it. I'm not sure if it says your opponent's turn because if your opponent has to have 4 more energy, you're such in a bind. Because if you go first, you're still a turn behind. So realistically speaking, versus when you play that deck, you want to go second because you want to have access to that thing as soon as possible, like ASAP, Rocky. Like you're just going in. Um, but then when you play that deck, it's like, bro, you're just being so subpar because realistically speaking, on your turn two, if you play Trunks, and this is why I try to say like decks are just bad. It's because I'm looking at it in comparison to everything else. The example I gave on the last video is why are you asking me should you play U7 when you can play Sin? U7 is a solid pick. At that Android 18 counterplay, it's a solid addition to an already broken deck. But why would you play that when you could just play Sin? It plays super similar, like super similar. Full Moon Nightmare. I don't know what it's called. It's a promo. You'll reduce it to a 3 cost. I think it's a 5 cost, but you reduce it to a 3 cost. When it comes in play, you board wipe everything that's in rest mode, not ignoring barrier. But fill spells, unisons, battle cards, you just board wipe them. And it costs 3, but I think your opponent has to be at 4 or more. I think you have to be at 4 or more. I'm not sure. I found that out after the event as I was at the airport. Well, after the event, and I did more research at the airport. I built the deck. I looked at the deck before I even played the game of the deck. I said I'm just not doing it because the numbers weren't adding up. I'm like, I have to be at X scenario in order to accomplish X. Where Trunks, it doesn't matter what turn I am. Once I'm past turn 1, I can just keep going in and doing what I have to do. Now, the one benefit of it is unless you're playing against something that could spam you, and then a real big disadvantage of it is I know a lot of people are going to take what I said to heart with the Scions. If you go first with that deck or if you go second, you will clear that Bulma Unison. You'll one-shot that Bulma Unison, and it's not good. That's why I would prefer playing the Piccolo Superhero. In my opinion, that is the second best yellow deck because a Piccolo Superhero Unison is a 15k. So you're not able to just farm them. I'm telling you, if I'm playing them, bro, if it's Trunks, you know how many times I played that starter Goku deck versus Trunks, and it's the easiest thing ever. Going first or going second, I can literally swing into the Unison. After that, I can just play a 1-drop, play another 1-drop from that, and then swing and swing. And it's just like, okay, cool, what are you doing? Or obviously speaking, you're gonna say, yeah, Eddie, I can play this counterplay Vegeta. Okay, cool. So you play the counterplay Vegeta. You have 1 marker left. Next turn, you go to 2. Now, next turn, I'll combo off for 1-drop. I won't evolve. I won't do anything yet. Swing, swing. So I have like 5 swings. And what are you going to do at the end of there? You see what I'm saying? Because you're not going to awaken on your turn. This is your turn 2. You want to have an advantage. Because when you awaken, you'll take yourself down to 6. So you want to get as many searches as possible. So really speaking, you want to milk the clock. Because you can't even do your Bulma play until you're awakened. So it's rough because you're not gonna get the full effect of Bulma until you're on your backside. So by the time you do play, it's gonna be really rough for you, bro. Like I wanted that deck to be good. Trust me. When I say it's butt cheeks, it's butt cheeks for a reason, bro. I literally wanted it to be good. You're trying to pop something with the explosive power Son Goku, and it doesn't ignore barrier, bro. I can tap one. Not only that, and your card can get answered because your card doesn't have deflect. Your card has barrier. Like explosive Son Goku has barrier. I can play the Vegeta. It can not hit the board. Get God Sealing. It could get whatever, bro. Like whatever you want to do to it, I'll still draw 2 cards. And I can just play it again because it's not limited 1. There's no restriction. It's not my unison coming out. As long as I have that 1-drop Vegeta, I can do it again. Draw 1 card because my leader already triggered and it's once per turn. Swing at whatever it is and then pop whatever you have left. That's the value that Trunks has compared to his other decks. It's not even close. The only closest deck after that with the Piccolo superhero deck because of the Pan and the Gohan and the early game unison makes that deck insane. I just need one more thing. I can make a concession with Bandai. They gave me a Z leader, or if they just gave me more barrier threats because that's really huge in this format. So I think it's really huge. You being able to have barrier threats without worrying about your opponent doing X. It's like, okay, cool. If you do answer my slug, I can lock you because the only way you can answer my slug is through. I'll tell you because I don't care because my sequencing. By the time you realize that you can do this, my sequencing will be impenetrable. Like it's gonna be. You do it, it matters to me. You can pay 2 for Kaioken, or you can wait till 4, and you can just board wipe me with the Vegeta Secret. But that's what I told you before. All the Sin players, I could get you to a point. If you're playing really well with Sin, I'll tell you exactly how you can know you played the best game you can against him. Is when I tell you on your turn 4, you have to Secret him or you die. If you're to that point, that's because you haven't misplayed with Sin, and that's the point I got you. If I'm beating you and I don't get to the point where I could care less, like, okay, cool, I'm gonna kill you on 5, it's because somewhere along the line you misplayed or you got. But if I'm telling you, okay, cool, and you look at the board like, damn, he's right, because you're not gonna want to do it. Trust me, because I'm gonna look in your face and just be like this. Have a Trunks blocker out, a barrier blocker, have my Vegeta, have my Slug. I'm looking at you just like this. There's nothing you can possibly do because you can take out my Vegeta. You can't touch my Trunks. I'm gonna have a wall of floodgates to stop all your attacks. And you're like, okay, he's correct. He has like 3 to 4 life left. I'm gonna have to Vegeta him. And you know Vegeta me? That's me telling you did everything you can do, but the Trunks is just better, bro. That's the point where it gets to. Full Moon Nightmare. I don't know the name of the card Kev bought, but it's on the Bandai Facebook site itself. All right, let's get back to the decks. All right. So red decks, we talk about red decks. So the reason why I tell you a lot of people get offended, the reason why I say red decks or green decks can't compete, I'm gonna tell you right now why green decks cannot compete. Green decks have a rough time of playing. I got create filters because of this. The most popular deck I would expect to see at a tournament is 100% Sin Shenron, right? 100% Sin Shenron. I don't like to use numbers outside of 100 because when you use like 1,000, a million, it's not realistic to me because 100% is the most optimal number you can get to. So this and this. If you fully expect, it's not loading up. If you fully expect, like I do, for Sin to be the most played deck, and I fully expect this going forward, Sin will be 100% the most played deck going forward. Even though Gogeta is the best deck, Gogeta will be right there afterwards, but Sin will be the most played deck. If you're using Dormant, are you really going to try to Dormant a double strike or triple strike? Because realistically speaking, one of 2 things are going to happen. You're going to attempt to Dormant this, and if you attempt to Dormant this, they're just not going to respond and change their entire line of play. Because as long as these attacks go through, you're done. Even if these attacks don't go through, right? For instance, on this, on a 30K, I'd probably make it 35. The reason why I'd make it 35, along with critical, obviously, would be the best case scenario for you to outplay this after you just Dormant would be to have a Cells Kamehameha and a Super Combo. You literally have to have both those 2 cards. If you do not have both of those 2 cards, it's neg for you. Because you're going to have to give me 2 Super Combos plus a card after you just Dormant it and discard it, which is super neg for you. Same thing with this. If you Dormant, honestly speaking, I would play Delusion Power to make it 30. Because even if you Dormant and you out combo with 2 Super Combos, you just lost 2 Super Combos after you just Dormant it, bro. You see what I'm saying? Like, was that really value in your point to just Dormant in the first place? Or the reason, once again, I said I'd make it at 30, not just 25. You're going to say, hey, I could just make it 25, man. It's going to be cool. No, you got to play the best case scenario, right? For green, they can have access to the Cells Kamehameha. And now if they do that to you, they're going to hit you with 30. Yours is 20 or 25. So I would 100% make this bad boy 30 in order to connect. But it is what it is at that time and point. Another really good card. Is it Vegeta? I'm not sure if it's called Vegeta. Another really good card that just stifles green in its action is, I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure, no, not pretty sure. I know for a fact Dormant is your best card in that thing. And Dormant gets stifled because of, whenever this loads up, I'll show you. Because of this bad boy. You could never Dormant for free. Like, you just lost your best card, and now you're paying tax for your best card. Because if you're going against Red, all you have to do is tap one, and they just cooled your Dormant. And it's so neg because now the only other thing you're gonna have besides this is homicidal clones. And I'm telling you, against red, the homicidal clones is dead because if you're not playing against a red mirror match, not a red mirror match, but if you're not playing red on red action, the unisons can't come into play. So if you're playing homicidal clones, realistically speaking, if you swing and I Dormant you, I can hit this. But if you swing, if I swing with a triple strike and you homicidal clones me, number 1, homicidal clones is dead because it's just gonna get neg. Number 2, I could swing with this. It's gonna be neg neg. Number 3, I could swing with any red threat that I want. I could swing with my Z leader, my Z Sin leader. You're gonna say, Eddie, that's the perfect time to do it, but it's not the perfect time to do it because since I just told you guys, you can play the unison in non-red matchups. You'll have access to your unison. So now that you have access to your unison, you can now counterplay the token that came into play along with whatever other battle card you have, and I could finish that off with a plethora of negs, whether it's by your leader negging it, or whether it's by this guy negging, or whether it's by this guy negging it. Same thing with Gogeta. Gogeta will have access to the unison as well. And Gogeta has access to negging power. Then we've been an hour in. Let me talk about Gogeta really quick. So I want to help you guys out. I think this is the biggest mistake that people are doing. This is drop. I don't think their plan is sorted out. I think just by set 18, which is gonna be neg. So I don't think they sorted everything out for Gogeta, like character wise. Let me get to the comments really quick because we've been an hour in. All right, cool. Comments say the same. A big, huge thing that I see a mistake that players are doing with this deck itself, they're trying to do way too much, right? The deck plays itself, man. When I say it's really simplistic, it's really simplistic. Same thing as Sin, where you have all these battle cards. You have a rival battle cards in Gogeta that people fail to realize are really good. People are trying to put in a common example, right? I need you guys to look at me in my face when I say this one. This is going to be a really good advice right here. The most common mistake I see, really speaking, people see a good card on paper, and just because it's good on paper, and it's good, it's not just good on paper, it's actually really good. The example I'm going to give is, I'm not sure if it's up, is that I think it's the Goten promo. It's either the Goten or Trunks promo, the red one. The red one that's for 15k double strike. You tap when it comes into play and draws a card. Let me see if I could find it. I'm not sure if it's on here. I don't care about it because it's not that relevant, honestly speaking. They're looking at me saying, "Eddie, would you play this card in this? Would you play this card? The effect is good. The effect is broken." I'm like, it's a great card. It's a fine card, right? Super, super good. But at the end of the day, why are you investing energy into that? Because yes, it replaces itself. It has no protection. Not only does it have I mean, you can give it protection. I'm not going to go into that how. But you're investing cards to do something where your deck already does something. If we're going to try to play that guy, why not just play this guy? That's a lot easier. If you're going to try to play that guy, why not just play this guy? That's a lot easier. Are you going to say, Eddie, this guy replaces all your Goku and Vegeta's replace itself? I'm going to give you guys a really simplistic. This one is going to be free chicken for you guys because I don't want to say it, but I'll just give you this one so you can honestly say, okay, cool, I helped you out. Because I really don't want to tell you guys the strategy because this is 100% the deck I'll be playing if I do end up going to San Diego. So you're gonna swing at me if you're playing anything. The only thing I'm threatened of, if I'm playing Gogeta, would honestly be Sin, even though it's better because you have to be on your game. The two things I'm gonna do to you if you're playing Sin, it's one, but not in that order, and this card. This card raise. We're playing the common version. You already know I'm playing the common version. It's going to be, I don't know why it's lagging. It's going to be these two cards. No matter what you're doing with Sin, you're not able to play around Violent Race. So your turn is going to be locked, hands down. So you're just speaking, just better off swinging with your 20k because the 30k is activate battle. I'm coaching you guys right now, so you don't say, all right, he's going to farm us with Gogeta and he's going to talk about. I'm telling you guys exactly what's going to happen. If you're playing Sin, play with your 20k because we can read it together, guys. Swing at your 20k first. When this card attacks, choose one battle card instant card. Swing with your 20k first. Read it with me, guys. When this card attacks, that's how you gotta say. I'm gonna keep it just like that. I'm gonna keep it really simplistic. The difference, activate battle. That's not when this card attacks. That's free chicken for you guys. But after you swing with your 20k, because I'm not assuming you're gonna misplay and swing with this. After you swing with your 20k, I'm going to Violent Raise the 20k. And then now you're going to have a plethora of 15k thing going to go in. I'm just going to combo out the 15k and be my leader for the rest of the turn. That's just one example of why you'll never be able to have anything that I have. And I don't lose anything but 3 cards in my hand, realistically speaking. And my hand size is going to be fat, so I can care less whatever you're trying to do. Because your turn, for me, is just going to be, okay, cool. You can try to floodgate me, but I'm gonna floodgate you right back, and that's just how it goes. Cool. We have more comments. I love comments. Oh yeah. Thank you for. I just remember something. At the end, I'm going to probably randomize something. I have to start giving out things. I have a bunch of sleeves, cool sleeves. I'll try to grab it, but not right now. But I'm gonna pick a winner after this, and you guys will go ahead and I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I probably just pick whoever honestly commented the most, the top two winners, and I have like really really cool sleeves. I have the original AOD sleeves, the set one winner sleeves. I have a bunch of stuff I just want to give out. The same thing at Kansas City. I gave out all my winner mats, my Jaren top cut mats, my PVG mats, all the stuff I was just giving out. So I'll go back and see over comment the top. I'd say the top. Just I have 16 sleeves. I'd probably say the top two. I'd probably pick the top two commenters that actually kept me informed and asked questions and stuff like that. I'll pick for winners. I'll just message you guys, and then you guys can message me back, and I'll send it to you for free. It's you and have 4 energy doesn't look to be OP. Hold on, what was that comment about? It's and you have 4 energy doesn't look to be at a point. Yeah. Oh, okay. You have to have 4 energy. Okay, so if you have to have 4 energy, that's already rough because no matter how you look at it, once it put that specified thing where it's like, okay, cool, it's not either player, it gets rough. Because now if you have to have 4 energy, you literally are pushing it if you don't win a die roll. If it's your opponent has to win 4 energy, now you're pushing it. I mean, we're talking about that Goku 8 right now, the promo Goku 8, just in case people are asking what am I talking about. Now, the fact that if you have to have 4 energy, you're pushing if you don't have the die roll because that card is doing absolutely nothing unless you win a die roll. But if it said your opponent has to have 4 energy, you're still pushing because now you have to lose a die roll. Or you see what I'm saying? Like it's stuff like that. It's rough. Whereas I have natural passive removal in Trunks, bro. It's better, bro. It's just better. I struggle to finish off ramp Vegeta when playing Yellow Trunks. Um, Anything I'm missing? You're not missing anything because people aren't gonna play. SS4 Vegeta is dead. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not. Once again, to elaborate what I say, when I say things are dead, it's because there's a deck that does it a lot better. Every SS4 player is gonna play this deck. This deck is infinite times better than SS4. Here we go again with these Gokus. We gotta get really specific when you say Gokus, or we're gonna be here all night, man. It's dead in favor of this bad boy right here. Yeah, if you're playing ramp Vegeta, this is your unique deck. It does everything better and it does everything faster too because it doesn't rely on a thingy. But to answer your question, what you're doing wrong if you're failing to finish it is your early game. Your early game, you're probably allowed a couple of hits that you shouldn't have allowed. So if you're playing, Andrew said you're playing Trunks, right? So if you're playing Trunks, you don't need, and this is why I say, guys, you have to think outside the box in order to be successful. If you're playing Trunks and you're going second or you're going first, it doesn't matter. Your play should not be a turn one, your one drop into getting. It shouldn't be a turn Vegeta getting a Trunks, or it shouldn't be a Trunks getting Vegeta. It should be wide open and they're attacking you, release from evil. You guarantee that they're not hitting and you're taking a life. Your turn two play, unless you have the Trunks evolve, should be the same thing. Should either be this time a negate, a release from evil, or if you're going to play your thingy, is because you have your one drop that has access to get your other one drop, but you also have your barrier blocker in your hand. So now your turn three play, you're blocking. If they blow it up, they blow it up. Cool. The next play, you can reset it again, or you can just do some evil. You see what I'm saying? Like you have to learn to lock your opponents out. But if you're just willy nilly, okay, that's why I say don't just follow people's deck profiles. So a lot of people give deck profiles without actual explanations. I do the same, except for the Patreon. Patreon, I'll tell you. Like YouTube, I'll just this is deck profile with Patreon. I'll tell you guys. This is normally what it is, but against certain matchups, I break it down. I say you don't want to do that. And I tell you right now, when I make my Trunks, I don't really talk about SS4 because I don't think it's a deck anymore. I know it's not a deck anymore. You'll probably still see it, but they're going to wish they just played this because this does it a lot easier where the damage doesn't need to go through. If that wasn't a deck and Vegeta was still a deck that just annoys you, I tell you straight up, your turn one play is never tapping out at all. Never tapping out. You leave one open for Release from Evil. Your turn two play, if you have the Trunks evolve, you evolve into it, and your turn three play, you just keep rinsing and repeating. They'll never strike a point of damage on you, and that's how you're supposed to play that game. Because there's no late game for them if they're not ramping. Because at that time and point, when they swing a Majin I'll just take the damage. But when they swing a leader, I'm always defending it. You see what I'm saying? All right, so let's talk about the next one. Give us the dark tech. The dark tech for what? Talk to me. I'll give you guys tech. I love giving you guys tech. I love getting out tech half the time too. I don't care because people don't listen. And I'm like, okay, cool. Thank God they thought I was trolling because this would have actually killed me. Like when I told you guys no unisons, I'm not gonna lie to you. The reason I was being sarcastic towards the end when I said, you know what, guys, if you guys want to play unisons and sin, go ahead and be your guest because if I'm going second, and this is the best chance for you to win against Trunks, but if I'm going second, and at any time point in the game you play your Unison against me, you just gave me an extra turn, which you're gonna regret because you just baby hash yourself. I know for a fact if you play Unison on me, there's no way for you to actually push you and win that turn. So you just baby hash yourself. He wouldn't listen. So when a lot of people did win a die roll against me, they played a Unison on turn 2. I said, this guy's about to get slaughtered as soon as he passes his turn because now I'm able to stabilize. The biggest thing I'll tell you guys now, because my sequencing for Trunks, I'm not going to play Trunks, I'm going to play Gogeta, so I'll tell you the sequencing. The sequencing for Trunks, if I go second, I have to establish both the Trunks and Vegeta. That's the only thing. I cannot stop any attacks unless I combo it through. I have to have my super combo or I have to use my Bulma cards in hand to find my super combos, my Vegeta super combos. Another huge reason why I don't play 4 like super combos. Yeah, if you go first, you'll have the advantage because I'm not able to do. I literally have to eat the double strike crit because if I don't, your board's gonna be insane because now your board, you're going to have free access to just playing stuff without having to worry about it getting taxed. And now that you don't have to worry about that, you're gonna play your 30k and your 20. It's gonna be super annoying for me because now you can start using cards from your hand versus the field, such as Haze and stuff like that. So I had to neg up until turn 3 and then I will recover turn 4. But if you want the die roll and you put Unisons on, I know for a fact I'll make it to turn 3. But if you do not put the Unison on turn 2, my sequencing, it will be turn 1 my 1-drops, turn 2. It would have to, I would neg and just eat it. I would only draw 3 cards because I use my leader once again. It would have to be the Trunks and then it would have to go into the Vegeta. I would have to clear 20k because if I don't clear that 20k right then and there, you're going to have another 20k and have access to another 30k, which is going to be super annoying on my part to deal with. And even if I had everything, I could pick my hand at a certain point, I'm not going to win. So yeah, that's really huge. But people didn't listen. People played the Unison, and I should have lost. If I went second, unless I open a certain set of cards, I would lose a lot of times. If I'm playing myself and I was playing Sin going first, and then the other players are going, that's not an auto win because Trunks does have a wall. Because I can make it to the point where okay, cool. Obviously, before you mulligan and all that good stuff, you know who's going first or second. I can just find those cards. Like I can just go ahead and turn 1. Okay, I'm going second. Hold 1 up for Rage from Evil. Not do that play till turn 2 because I know I have the secret rare. Oh, Sam, I don't have the secret rare. I have to eat the double strike crit. Oh, snap, I played the 1-drop and I see my secret rares in life. I had to give you my entire hand and just rebuild it because you're going to you don't have access to crit 4 times. It's things like that. You have to improvise, adapt, and overcome. But once again, that's only through hours and hours and hours of playtesting. And that's a video for itself because playtesting is not just putting cards to paper and then playing games. It's more than just that. It's theory crafting. It's looking at everything your opponent cannot do. It's not playing your deck, but it's playing the decks in the actual meta so you can understand, okay, cool. If they're doing this play, like for instance, in turn 1, if you're not playing Trunks, you're a Sin player. But if you're playing Trunks because you just want to see how it goes, if turn 1 you're not playing on 1-drop, you're leaving 1 open, you should know, oh, it's not because they miss, especially my version, you're never going to miss on your 1-drop. You have 4, 8, 12. You have 12 ways to get it. You have 4 1-drops, another set of 4 1-drops, which makes it 8, and you have 4 Bulmas. So you have multiple ways to get it. So if you see that I pass, you'd be like, okay, playing my build, you'd be like, yo, he's super holding up something, and you should know for a fact it's going to be like a Reese from Evil or something, because you're not going to whiff out of 12 cards in order to find one of your 1-drops. It's things like that that all go into playtesting. That's why I told you guys it's not just jamming in games recklessly. That was when we were talking about Big Yellow Ape. Yep. You're correct. Yeah, once I get a hold of the new Goku lead, I'm building that. Reboot Beerus is dead not to. Yeah. A lot of the ramp decks, if you wanted to play ramp, or if you're a big ramp player, you're just playing that Goku leader, bro. Like that Goku leader, honestly, is one of the few blue decks that are actually, I don't even really classify it as a blue deck. When you're just so monotone on what you're doing, I don't classify it as a color. I just call you by your name. Like the Yellow Sin, I don't classify it as a yellow deck. I just say, hey, it's Yellow Sin. Yellow Trunks, I damn near classify it as yellow. Like that's what when I say Yellow Trunks hard counters it. I don't say yellow hard counters those colors because the 8 reboot is not able to do what Trunks can do to Gogeta or Sin. So I say specifically Yellow Trunks. I don't say yellow as a color itself. But for blue as a color itself, if you're trying to ramp or have ramp strategies, you're just 100% playing this. It's just no fallback for it. Like, obviously, I don't want to put myself out there because I'm going to find a way to beat Gogeta. I just haven't beat Gogeta yet. But what I do is, I'm going to help you guys out. Go to traits and just go to gods. Because you have Quetzalcoatl for a 1-drop. Again, sitting to start comboing these bad boys off. You have ways to search your god cards. You have the Beerus, the Whis. I'll give you guys 4 cards that you should be playing in your deck, hands down. Ding 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 ding. I probably passed something because I was scrolling way too fast to see what I even passed. I'll make it simple. I'll give you guys 4 1-drops that you should be playing, hands down. This is the obvious. Bum 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 bum. Damn, I'm either super blind or I can't see right now. Oh, I just passed 1. That Kai was 1, so that's 2. I'm gonna go back and click it. There's 3. Bum 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 bum. And it's at 18 weeks, and we're in there like silverware. I don't feel like scrolling through. My eyes are about to close, so we'll just do it like this. One, two, three, four. They're not in your Goku deck. You're doing something wrong. Another card that's not a god. I'll give you guys another free chicken for being on here as long with me. Should be that 1-drop Goku. It's not a 1-drop. It's a 3-drop that reduces all by 1. I'm not gonna search Goku's because a bunch of them are gonna come up. But it's a 1-drop Goku that it's a blocker. It draws a card. It filters your deck. All you want to do with that is literally just, I don't know what to tell you. Like you're literally. Hold on, I just got a thing. You see, I just have local. He listened to me. I'll read verbatim. I'm not gonna say his name. I don't want to say anything. He says, "God first tonight, dog. Made you proud." He sent me his deck list earlier. It was a Gogeta deck. I said, number 1, take your innocence out of your main board. He just got first place on it, and I helped him out. I coached him up. I told him about the Radix. I said, listen, if you're playing Radix super combos, you're going to be having a problem because a good opponent is going to stall you out of being at 4. There's a bunch of stuff like this. Like I get messages all the time when people listen, they listen. Yeah, Calamity Challenger. Yep, that's another card that you play in there. That's what it's called. It's the Goku I was referring to. The 3-drop. Yeah, I'm not trolling. I don't want to show his name, but because you guys probably think I'm trolling. Man, I don't want to show his name. You guys can see, just so you can see that I wasn't trolling. Where is it? It just locked itself. 3, 4, 3, 4. Oh man, it's not gonna work. I want to show you guys this message so bad. I get messages all the time. Especially, I used to be from Florida. All my local guys, they message me. Hey, what do you think is good? They actually listen and they succeed. That's not gonna work. I'm not trying to show them. Every time I press it to block the name, it blanks out. So I'm just not gonna do that. Yeah, Calamity Challenger is the card I was referring to. Other than that, I'm gonna stop right there because I hate giving out decks that I haven't played yet for free. Because if I play them, people start to play them, and what happens is it's not that I hate giving out for free. People do well with it, and because I haven't played it yet, they're gonna take credit for it, and they don't give credit back. That's why I hate doing things like that. But you guys are here with me, so I'll give you those 5 cards that I have in my deck that you should have in your deck. And if you don't have them in your deck, you're doing something 100% wrong. You should know a 6 card 100% is going to go in there as well. That's the reason why you play the deck because it's unstoppable. It's only the Jiren is the only thing that stops it. So that's a hint. That's a huge hint. If you don't pick up on that, yeah, that's something for you. So what else we got? So I'm about to get off here in a little bit. Let's go to deck planets really quick. We talked about an example of why you can't play green because it's dormant. How you can play around dormant. We talked about blue, yellow. I went over yellow real quick briefly on why that I feel, hey, it just doesn't provide as much as Trunks does. And the closest one behind it would be, I would give right now at the moment the reboot Stardate Ape Goku on the same level as the Piccolo as is, only because that ape does bring it up a lot. But at the same time, they're both missing something. They're both missing that factor in order that ape to be successful. Why don't we get people? I don't get why people aren't playing East Sky no more and Blue Guy. It's a Quetzal card, bro. People are snap. The only time you can see, okay, cool. It is what it is, especially in this format, as against red decks, because yes, you can counterplay it, but at the end of the day, it's a free side format, so you can just sideboard those things out and put the card that you need in. Other than that, give me 10 seconds. I'm gonna go get some sleeves so I can ask you guys what do you want. You guys can message me. 1 second. Alright, I'm back. I made sure not to grab duplicates because I did not want to run out of them. But I'm gonna go down the comment section. Those that I feel like contributed the most to questions and stuff. I'm going to just message me on Facebook. That's how I have Messenger. Message me your screenshot your name so I can see it's you, and send me your address, and I'll send these away to you for free. If you're international, I still got you. I still send it for free. I got you guys. I have one. Just message me, like I said, screenshot your name, and then your Twitch name so I can see that it was you, and let me know which sleeve you want. That's the Goku, Kid Goku on the Nimbus. I got the first ones. I have these. I have this. I have these. I have infinite sleeves, man. I have so many things that I have. Yeah, I have these. These are really a lot of people wanted these. I have the original ones, the Demigra ones. I have the. I won this way back when. This one's like a little ripped. I'm gonna have to see if I have another one. But I have the original villain set. I have both. I'll just go two at a time now. Jiren. That's just Goku. Sin for all you Sin players, and then Vegeta, but it's blue. So scroll down this chat one time. I can probably see who asked the most stuff. I think a clear winner is I am Carbicide. I can't really spell or read tonight. So for a fact, you won one. I think the second one, if I'm not mistaken, would be. I want to say Get 'em. Yeah, I want to say Get 'em. Because yeah, I think Get 'em is. So yeah, just message me your Twitch name so I can make sure it's you on Facebook Messenger, and I'll ship these out to you tomorrow when I drop off my son after I get done play testing. Because you guys know how it is. I'll give my closing comments. So if you guys have anything, just let me know what's up. Closing comments. If you're going to San Diego, I highly recommend you're really versatile with Gogeta. Gogeta, don't be simple-minded. If both decks Sin and Gogeta, they're not only contained to red. They can 100% Sin is not only contained to red. It has multiple colors, right? It is what it is. But at the end of the day, you have decks that don't have to like Gogeta doesn't have to be mono red. Yes, it's not as easy to make a multicolor Gogeta deck as it is a Sin deck, but trust me, be on the lookout and be more vigilant. Because another thing that Sin has actually to the people want to listen to that people didn't really pick up on was the fact that you have. Let me show it to you really quick. You have all of these extra cards. It's not just the easier to do it. The common thing they all have together is Shadow Dragons. Damn, I really can't spell. You could tell it's my bedtime. And guess what, guys? You have an entire 2 archetypes worth between black and yellow. One black one is really good, and one yellow one is really good that you should be playing. That's extra cards. All right, card type, and this is all of what I tell you. This is what I consider play testing, not play testing, but actually testing. Play testing is actually putting the paper to pen, but this is actually what I mean when I say this is actual testing. Ooh, I'll let you guys read this card really quick because I don't want to say it. But you guys that are watching, you guys should be doing research like this. I'll tell you the name of it. You guys can do research. Ultimate Dragon Quake, and then this card right here, Dragon Thunder. You guys should really be paying attention when next come out of things that you can build and things that you shouldn't build because of specific cards like this that are not leader locked. This is all of what I consider to be testing. Whereas Gogeta, the reason why it's harder, for instance, right? I'll give you the easiest example. Dragon Thunder is a yellow card. Almighty Resistance is a card that literally says it's a counter. If you discard a yellow card, you naturally have 3 to 4 yellow cards. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, it's little tips and tricks like that I think just keeps that'll separate players. But once again, when I say a deck is trash, I don't look at separate players. I assume I'm playing against myself. I assume you're playing against yourself. I assume whoever it is. My favorite playing game is Legends, so I assume Legends is playing against Legends. So the Legends playing Trunks is always going to lose to Legends playing Gamma. You see what I'm saying? It's things like that. So whatever happens, happens. People listen, people don't listen. If you listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna get on here, waste my time, and just speak blasphemy or just like troll you guys. Like I told you, Gogeta, I'm gonna eat like this. Gogeta's the best deck in the format, hands down. You can try to argue with me if you want to. I'm just gonna look at you and say, okay, cool, that's it. I'm not gonna. It's your opinion. We all have opinions too, right? So I'm just telling you, in my opinion, Gogeta is the best deck in the format. Then it's Sin, and the deck that counters both of those decks, the top decks, is gonna be Trunks. It's just like that. Blue is really good. Watch myself. Blue Reboot Goku is really good too. I just haven't personally put enough time into it to find a way to stop the Gogeta deck because at that time when I was playing testing it and I was like testing it, like finding cards and stuff, I said, you know what? People are talking. You already know my partner in crime was talking that Kansas is about to be a free win because I'm not going. No one he knows is going. So I said, you know, I'm going to go there. And then people are trying to say, hey, he's just trying to talk all this crap, man, so he doesn't have to face Sin. So he could go in with Sin. I'm like, no, bro. I won't even play Sin. I'll go there just to. I went to Kansas City to prove a point. Like I wasn't trying to troll to play Sin or Gogeta in order to get a free win. When I said Trunks counter picks those decks, Trunks rips apart. It's not close. People are around my table asking me to do the 6-0 play. And I wasn't even in a position where I even had to do it because I wasn't threatened at any time and point. But I did it just to show them, like, yeah, you see, this and that. And they had multiple energy open. You just can't stop it. And that will be described in deck profile. So other than that, like I said, I am Carvan. He said you're in New Zealand. That's fine. Even if you're in New Zealand, I'll ship it to you, bro. I don't care. Just on Facebook Messenger, make sure that I can see your account that you're messaging me from is your actual Twitch username as well as your address, and I'll ship it to you. It's fine. I don't care. And then yeah, I think it's Get 'em. So Get 'em, you too. If you watch this next day, same thing. Make sure I can see your username for your Twitch and send me your address, and you can have your choice of the sleeves. You can go back and watch when I held them up. Other than that, man, thanks for joining in. I probably won't go live again until probably because I have matches to upload. And I have to go test Gogeta and find something. I know my list, but I want to find something that brings it to the next level. Because if I ain't going to San Diego, that's the deck I'm going to come up winning with. And yep, that's it, man. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you guys next time.